Oh, this is all stuff that will get cut. But if we're ready, I'll do the thing.
Do the thing.
Cool. Hello, everyone. This is a slight offshoot from the Wandering Party, where the party rogue ranger goes off and does some roguey things. So this takes place concurrently with the Wandering Party. This is sort of Alice striking out and delving into the more roguish elements of the city of Freyhollow that the Wandering Party is currently resident in. It is a one-to-one game, so there is just Beth, who plays Alice, myself, the DM, Russ, in this one, and yeah, we shall see what happens. So, Alice, to place this for the rest of the listeners as to where this is currently sat chronologically in terms of the Wandering Party. This is after the death of Pargo, the dragon, and before the trial of Red Sam. It is in that current bulk space.
Night before.
Yes, the night before Red Sam's trial. Everyone has snuck off up to bed in the various places around the city where they have chosen to sleep after that, because Zant's obviously gone off to the temple. You are aware Chris has gone off to his own room to sleep, and the hour is growing later. The sun has dipped below the horizon. The sky is still illuminated, nice collection of pinks and oranges, but the city is quietening down as night seems to be kicking in. You're sat in your room. You have a nice view over the docks area from the middle district of the city. You're looking down. You can see a number of sailors making their way up the grand staircase towards the level where the Wandering Tavern is situated. They aren't quiet. It appears the sailors' nightlife is just about to kick in.
So as kind of the rest of the city starts settling down and the nightlife kicks in, she will remove her royal finery, because that is way too ostentatious.
Yes, the garb for meeting a monarch is definitely not the garb you want to wear if you're going out on the town.
No. She will go standard traveller's gear, so brown traveller's pants, boots, her cloak, and she will put her non-magical bow over her back and head downstairs, as I'm guessing downstairs is starting to get a little bit busier now the nightlife's kicking in. And
it is, and as you open your door, you become distantly aware of there's almost no sound from downstairs as you're in the hallway. It's odd, but as you walk towards the stairs, like, you can hear it, but it's not overwhelming as loud as you'd expect it to be, given the not so great distance between you and the actual bar floor. As you head downstairs, as you pass sort of the threshold of the bottom of the stairs into the main bar area, the wall of noise hits you, and you realise that in the renovation work, Chris might have had some magic done to the tavern.
She just kind of grins at this, and so that's going to be appreciated.
The tavern is very lively and very loud. There are more patrons in here than you've seen in your time with the Wandering Party. It's almost shoulder to shoulder, and you're being jostled slightly by people just in front of you. The two elves that you've seen behind the bar are working quickly, and you realise why them always knowing is such a valuable bar trait, as they're just putting drinks in front of people and taking coin. And in front of some people, they're putting multiple drinks and taking more coin. You see the halfling who works the kitchen is moving around, pushing food onto the bar. So people can take, so servers can take it. There's waiters and waitresses floating around. There's more staff here, actually, for this Wandering Tavern than you've actually seen working before. Generally, because the party operate during the day and not during the night.
Yeah.
So you see their Chris's operation running smoothly.
That's always good to know. Quite happy that it is busy, hoping it's just going to be able to slip out without too many people noticing. And
there's quite a lot of sailors in here, you'd note, as well.
anyone looking particularly shady?
And you can roll me the first roll of the evening. You roll me a perception check.
Come on, roll 20. Don't fail me now.
Have you appropriately praised the dice gods this day?
I like to think so. On a 16.
On a 16, they're sailors. They all look slightly shifty. There's a couple of people you peg are probably doing talking business, and it's not entirely legitimate, but it's no worse than you'd expect on a tavern that could be seen from the docks.
Yeah.
This the Wandering Tavern has kept a safe and not too. They don't look into it too deeply. Essentially, in this tavern, it's like a fight will be stopped before it really gets going. It's one of those sorts of taverns. You play by the rules. We don't look too hard. You break the rules, you're out on your ass. Sort of establishment. It might attract those who want to at times appear like they're not paying too much, but they may be buying the better stuff. That sort of low to middle, occasionally dabbling upper clientele.
And very much a don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to kind of vibe.
Exactly. Yeah. And there are people who you wouldn't normally see rubbing shoulders. You get the impression the influence of the party members and their standing in the region has brought some of the clientele in, the greater diversity.
She will kind of take note of anyone that kind of seems to be holding court at the tables, especially those that do look like they might be doing something that's not necessarily on the right side of things. So if there is anyone looking particularly shady that I can see doing the kind of businessy side of things, she'll make note, but try not to be too obvious about it.
There's a couple people though, they're talking quite animated. They're not hiding the fact that they're talking business. So you probably get it's like the people, like, it's lost in the noise what they're saying. But they're clearly, there's not quite like the books out, but it's quite in depth.
Faces I might want to remember at some point.
Potentially.
They're noting that everything's kind of going well down here. She will try slip out without too many people noticing.
It's not difficult. You are you're relatively skilled at slipping out of places undetected anyway, and moving quietly. You get jostled a couple of times, and a couple of people nearly spill drinks on you as they're flaying around. But you slip out of the door without too much difficulty. It's still quite bright because it's out as the sun is still just dipping below the horizon, but it's colder than you've experienced in a while.
Lack of cloud cover does that.
Mm-hmm.
She will pull her cloak a little bit tighter around her shoulders, hood up, and sticking kind of to the more shaded areas as much as she can, follow the directions Chris gave her.
Okay. So as you're moving through the city, so you look up. It's actually going to be quite a nice evening. Like, once the sun is gone, you get the impression the stars were fairly easily visible. It's pleasant. The weather is pleasant. So you head, following Chris's instructions, down into the almost into the guts of the city, through some back streets.
She will be keeping her eyes open for any kind of Thieves Guild symbols at all, any Thieves Camp kind of hidden around as she makes her way down.
As you move around bits and pieces, you do spot occasionally the odd symbol that looks slightly out of place. You get the impression it's probably elements of Thieves Camp, but it's like individually it doesn't make sense. Yeah. Whereas you're looking at it going, as you walk past, you glance at it, you go hang on, I'm missing something. Yeah. It's like individual words that just without context don't make any sense to you.
Kind of thing you're not going to understand unless you know what it is.
Exactly. Unless you're in the know, it's what the fuck, basically. So the noise of the city changes as you head into its guts. Instead of the noises of busy taverns, it's quieter. You can almost hear the sound of running water, and occasionally just this loud sort of dripping noise. You hear the sort of the muffled hum of people talking as you walk between buildings and through small, increasingly tight alleyways. As you're following Chris's directions, there is you spot down one of the alleyways just this person just sat there. They're wearing like ragged robes. You can see their legs, and they're like they're from about the knee down, and it's just dirty and marked in mud and filth. You can see their forearms as they're splayed across the person's knees, like lazily, like just drooped forward. They have a battered hood pulled up, so you can't quite see their face. You can see the silhouette of their features; they look almost human. And then you see the alleyway doesn't need bank left as soon as you're looking where this person sat. They're not making any noise. There's some people moving up and down around you. It's quite a tight squeeze as they squidge past. As you're moving through these different alleyways, you do note there are doorways, just random doorways at different elevations. And you're like, why would they be there? And then you see an Aarakocra just sort of carefully wiggle their way, not quite flying, not quite gliding, like pushing off the wall and just maintaining elevation until they land at one of the doors and they open it and walk in. And you realise that these are essentially like sky apartments that only the Aarakocra can get to.
She looks up. That's right. That's actually quite cool.
They're called lofts. Sorry, I had to put that somewhere.
So she will follow the alleyway down to the left as she is directed and make her way to the door.
So as you're aware, the passageway heads down, curves slightly before you come to what looks to be a heavy wooden door that's been reinforced with heavy, dark-looking iron. There is what looks to be like a peak hole or something with a slider pushed over. It's just stood there. There's no other noise down this hallway. The sound of people moving past is sort of just faded away. You can't hear anything. There's just a door in front of you. What would you like to do?
Before she knocks, she will kind of look in either direction just to make sure no one else is around that can see. And then
the way this is curved, you can see the guy who is sat at the end of the alleyway, and he can see you. And as you look down, you get the very faintest impression that their eyes are just watching you under the hood.
And then she will knock as instructed.
The slider pulls back with a thud. What do you want?
Chris sent me.
Did he now?
She just nods.
Roll a persuasion check. On a 7, the eyes that are looking at you go, prove it.
He said you guys would have a question for me.
All right. This is going to have to cut and say, fuck, I forgot the question. Shit, DM faux pas. I wrote it down and I've lost that particular bit of paper. What was the question?
It was a riddle. I had to answer a riddle.
Fair. I did have one concocted and I've fucking forgotten it.
Just Google one.
What am I fucking doing? Don't judge me. No, alright. They sort of look at you. There's a few blinks. Right. You walk into a room that contains a match, a kerosene lamp, a candle, and a fireplace. What would you like first?
The match.
That's one. A man dies of old age on his 25th birthday. How is this possible?
A leap year's a thing in this world, Ross.
Yes, they are. They are, yes. I'm glad you got there.
Leap year.
He nods. Good. I have branches, but no fruit. Trunk or leaves. What am I?
You're a river.
Close, but no cigar. Though I don't suppose a ranger would potentially get this. You see, there's almost a smirk in the person's voice. You can only see like their eyes and their nose. You're thinking far too naturally.
Please forgive me.
You're in the sea. Come on.
Can you repeat the...
I have branches, but no fruit, trunk, or leaves. What am I?
Sewer tunnels?
No, you're getting there. I'll give you a hint. They can be subject to a heist.
Oh, thank.
There you go. Right. One more, just because you had to get help on that one. David's parents have 3 sons. Snap, crackle, and what's the name of the third son?
David.
You'd be surprised the number that gets. There's a thud as you see the door is pulled inward, and a burly, stoutly built human is looking at you. Right, what's your name then?
Alice.
Nice to meet you, Alice. I'm the doorman. Doorman is fine.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
He nods. If you head downstairs, just if you want to Chris this lot, be a little careful. No funny business.
Not here for funny business, don't worry.
No, you're here for socialising. That's how they all start. Just don't put yourself in debt. I'd really hate to have to break your kneecaps.
Noted. And she will step inside.
As you step inside, he allows you to pass him. There are a number of sort of different staircases that all seem to lead down. He gestures the middle one. Security measure. It changes. You're muted, Beth.
I am muted. She will go through the middle one.
Okay. You head downstairs, and there's a moment of absolute darkness as you're just walking down. And then, much like your own tavern, suddenly you're hearing a lot of noise. And as you step down, the light hits you first, and arrayed before you is an expansive space. That's entirely unnecessary and superfluous additional. But it's a large open space where there are different tables. You recognize some of them as poker tables, some as where people are sat, just seating tables. And there's dice games being played, card games being played. You can see this whole area, and you note as you're walking down on 3 of the 4 sides of this room are large balconies that seem to head further back. And walking across some of the front of some of these balconies are some very heavily armored armed guards. Most of them seem to have heavy crossbows. And you note there's a set of different doorways, 2 on each of these walls that you can see on the ground level, which all have armed guards. They're clearly not city guard. They are wearing leather rather than the heavy armor of the city guard. And they all look much less like they're designed to look intimidating, so much as there to be, I'm not here to look intimidating because I will just kill you if you fuck with me. Level of,
yeah.
Don't be trying to fuck with them.
Yeah.
I don't need armor because I'm scary without it.
So making note of this, as she walks walks in and kind of her eyes quickly scan around. Are there any dwarves?
There are dwarves here, but they are markedly different from the ones that I'm assuming you're thinking of from Rockhall.
Okay.
The dwarves here, most of them are a lot more tanned to start with. There is a difference between I'm going to call them Rockhallian dwarves and Primorian dwarves. You'd note Retsam is somewhere between these two now. The ones from Primor seem to be a lot more tanned and used to being outdoors in direct sunlight, rather than Rockhall, where most of them exist underground and are much paler. Retsam is clearly on the tanning side of it. But these, there are a lot of different races. So on the far side, you do see this long bar that almost takes up 9/10 of the far wall from where you've just entered. There are a number of different bartenders serving alcohol, and the races here there are so many different species. It's almost mind-boggling for you. You're from Primal, you know there's no problem with people of different species intermingling. It's practically Primal's MO is the melting pot.
Yeah.
But just the array of different species and subspecies is slightly odd for you. There's Kenku, there's Aarakocra, there's Dragonborn, there's humans, there's elves, there's dwarves, there's gnomes, tieflings. You even peg, looking at one of them, they've got really odd ashen skin. Your brain goes, hang on a second, is that an Aasimar just walking past? They're rubbing shoulders, there's no difference. They have different levels of nicety of attire. Some are wearing quite nice clothing, even if it's the travelling-esque, and clearly I can travel in this because I don't care about it. But it's nicer quality. You've got people who are wearing, the workers' attire, much more rough-hewn, better wearing clothing. And they're all brushing shoulders, buying drinks, moving around as if they're, of the same stature. You can hear the sound of dice being rolled, of cards slapping down, of coin exchanging hands as is won and lost at the betting tables.
So, noting that she can't see any Rockhallian dwarves, at least from her first glance, she will make her way through to the bar. Does anyone look at her strange for having her bow on her back?
No. A couple of people are like, a bow. You hear a couple of whispers like, a bow in here, really? As you know, a lot of people, as you walk past them, as you brush up and are nudged by them, they're all carrying. But most of them are carrying swords and daggers of some description. They're much more expecting if there's going to be a fight here, they'll have to defend themselves, and it's a melee rather than a ranged combat experience.
I mean, she does have her dagger in her boot, so she does have kind of melee options at least. If that were to occur, she's hoping it's not going to be the case.
As you reach the bar, you manage to nudge your way to the front of the bar. You hear this Dragonborn barman about 5 or 6 feet away from you looks into this guy and goes, "No, I'm cutting you off. You've had too much and you haven't paid for it." And this human looks up and goes, fuck you prick. I want more alcohol. I've got a tab. I'll pay it off next month. No. You pay up now or you're not getting another drop in you. The guy just goes to draw a dagger. You see the flash of the blade. The barman just grabs the drunk by the top of the head and smashes his head into the bar. You hear a crack as the guy just flops backward and the Dragonborn just brushes shattered tooth off of the bar. Right. That's how we deal with that. Get him out of here. He's in debt. The barman walks over to you. "Oh, you're new. Sorry you had to see that." You don't argue with the bar, or the house, as it were.
Obviously.
"Sorry you had to see that. Sometimes they get a bit unruly. What's your poison?"
Wine, if you have any.
"Do we? Of course we have bloody wine."
I don't know who your usual clientele are.
"Fucking anyone. Red, white, rosé, cheap, expensive."
Red, not too expensive.
Okay. He leans back, just plucks a bottle that has a cork halfway in it, it's been opened and enough that they're just not bothering to close it properly.
Yeah.
He just grabs a pint, it's like a pint glass. He doesn't even bother with a proper wine glass and just pours you a healthy measure. That's a couple copper, please.
She'll put a silver on the table.
All right, do you want the rest of the bottle then?
Might as well.
He leaves the bottle with the pint glass.
She tops the pint glass up the rest of the way, because why the fuck not?
All right, you know how to drink. I like it. Right, so what has brought you here? I heard Dorman say something about one of Chris's chosen. So, why are you interested enough to get Chris's attention?
I'm assuming you're aware of what's going on with Rat Sam at the moment.
Well, that dwarf from Rockall, who it's a bit weird, and then it's been picked up by the other Rockallian dwarves.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know about him. We're starting to like him. He's tanning well enough, he might be a Primorian dwarf before he knows it. There's a slight cheer, and you hear, "Fuck Rockall!"
She grins at this.
The bomb leans back and goes, "Oi, no politics in here, you lout."
She, taking note of this, she kind of nods. It's like, I will attempt to keep the politics to a minimum.
Yeah, he's been now locked up in one of them cathedral prison cells. He just air quotes with two of his fingers.
Yeah, prison cell. And we want him out.
Totally get it. You ain't seen a prison until you've been in a Primorian prison. Let me tell you, there's nothing like it.
We want him out.
Can't understand that. But that don't tell me why you're interested in Chris. That's real. It just tells me your dwarf has made a deal and he's fucking paying for it.
I'm an extremely good shot.
All right. How good does that bow do you on your back when I could shiv you 3 times before you've drawn it?
If you can get close enough, quick enough.
He leans forward. I'm already close enough.
Are you?
Yeah. I did say I'd shiv you, but the extension of my arms is the guy sat either side of you.
He nods.
So, you know. Well, you got balls, I'll give you that. Well, there must be some sort of spark of promise in you if Chris likes you. So, what's your skill set, as it were? Because Chris don't recommend anyone. Let me tell you how much. For you to walk up at the door and say, "Chris sent you," that's saying something.
I can get places, generally places I need to be, extremely quickly, and don't have to be particularly close to get a bead on someone.
All right, so you've got a good pair of eyes. Not bad. So what do you want, or what do you want to specialise in then? Are you going to be one of them sneak thieves? You could be a scary muscle. You overwatch. Do you kill? Do you care about killing people? Do you care about, their morality, their alignment? Like what? What's your moral compass like?
Questionable. I will do what needs to be done.
You're an underground bar that's promoting high stakes gambling that is not entirely legitimate.
I will do what
questionable
needs to be
is
done.
our fucking middle name. You'll do what needs to be done, all right? You will be the first person that said that to my face and not followed through. I tell you what. Go play some dice. See how much money you can rip off the house or the other poor buggers playing. And we'll talk.
She nods. She will take her pint glass of wine and look for a table that's not particularly overcrowded.
There are a pair of dice tables that are not particular. There's both of them only have about 3 other players. One of them, one of the people stands up, like slams his hands on the table and goes, "Oh, fuck this!" Picks up the few gold coins, like 5 gold coins he has in the stack, and just storms away from the table. And there's a couple of the people just really put out that he's acted out like that. A couple of the patrons just make way for this guy, so they're not associated to him at all.
As she will kind of watch this, and as he walks off, approach the table. Need a replacement?
You wouldn't mind, says a halfling that's sat at the far side of the table from where you've walked up to.
She'll take a seat.
Nice. So, you must be
Alice.
Alice, right, cool. I'm the, I don't want to say dealer because this is a dice table, not cards table. But I'm the house, as it were, you know?
Nuts.
It gestures to the other two players at the table. This is 12s. You might have heard of 21. It's like that, but with lower numbers because people are thick.
She chuckles.
And it's played with dice, and normal dice are only 6-sided, so 12 is the highest you can get, really, isn't it?
Unless she's 3.
Look, we're using 2, all right? Don't be a prick. No one likes a smart ass.
House die, or can I use my own?
If you want to use your own, I have to check and see if they're weighted.
She nods. She'll hand over set dice. They are not weighted. They are standard playing dice.
You see him roll them between his hands. Like, all right. They get the seal of approval at this table. Of course, every person at every table, every house at every table will check.
Understandable.
If they don't, tell them they're shit. And then demand they check them.
Noted.
Right, so basically, to give you a rundown of rules, because I'm sure you've never played 12s before, like these plebs when they turned up, he gestures at 2 players. One of them goes, "Oi, house, I'm one of your regulars." Shut up, Mikey, no one likes a prick. Right. So basically, you get 2 6-sided dice, like you got there. Now, the aim is to get to 12, right? Now, the other thing that caveat to this is a 1 or a 10. All right?
Okay.
So if you roll a 1 and a 2, you got 12. Job's a good one. Now, if you roll piss awful on both, like you get a 2 and a 2, so you're at 4, you can double your bet to get 2 more dice. Well, you can double your bet, get 1 more dice, and then add another like original pot back on and get a third or something, or get a 4th or something. I can't fucking get on, man. It's like they bring him like he gets a shot of something. You can't quite tell what it is. Right. So, do you want to play against the whole lot, or do you want to have a go against me first?
Jump straight in.
Straight into the whole lot. Oh, you're brave. Right. So, the idea is you got to get... So, if none of us get 12, it's whoever's closest wins.
Okay.
Right? If you go over, you bust. Cool. Right, so I'll go first. He takes the 2 dice he's got in front of him, puts them over a cup, puts a cup over him, shakes them up, and then peeks. All right. He gestures to the one he's just called Mikey, who pretty much mirrors him, and then he points to the last one, who doesn't say their name. So the one to your left is a human called the Mikey. Mikey is the human, and then to the other side is a Kenku. He just looks at me and goes, "Mimic, do your thing. Mimic, do your thing." And the Kenku just essentially mirrors the gesture. Do you want to try and read any of their facial expressions?
If possible, yes.
You're going to have to give me an insight for each person that you wish to read. So if you're reading House, an insight. If you want to read Mikey, another one. And then the third for the Kenku, called Mimic.
Start with House. Nope.
I can't see your roll for some reason. Oh, there it is. Yeah, House is stone cold.
Yeah. And then Mikey.
Mm-hmm. Mikey is not feeling too confident at his position. Just from there's a slight tick when he looks at his dice the first time. You're like, he's probably not happy with that.
Okay, and then I will attempt with the Kenku.
The Kenku is a lot harder to read.
Yeah.
You don't get a bead. The House looks at you and goes, "Yeah, trying to read the face of a Kenku. It's like trying to read the face of Dragon Ball, and they don't do the facial expression stuff. Nor do Aarakocra, so it's more fun
Let's
to play.
try.
Oh, very much so. Do you want to roll now?
Yeah. So 2d6.
Mm-hmm. So, bets. The house just puts down like 3 silver. Mikey, you see Mikey just go, fuck. He like matches. The Kenku looks at Mikey and you see it like the beak opens. You see, oh fuck, and then raises by 1. House is like gestures to yourself as Mikey just no, fuck that. The house just slides, as you're thinking, the house just slides the additional silver coin.
She will match it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's double it to get the 2 die.
It's double it to get an additional 1. He described it badly and then went on to correct himself.
Okay, so
it's you double your current bet to get another dice. Then you add another of the original bet, so in this case 3, to get the... It's weird. It's like it's an expansion of each, then it increments more lowly. More lowly, less extremely. Words.
Okay, so it's currently, 4 down?
Oh yeah, there's currently 4 silver per player.
Okay.
Apart from Mikey, who put 3 down, was like, yeah, fuck that, and didn't match, so is out.
So she will take an additional die and place another 4 down.
So you're putting 8 down in total?
Yeah.
Okay. The D6 is yours.
And she will stick.
When you double it, they don't have to match that because that goes in a separate pile.
Yeah.
Looks at you and goes, all right. Well, Mikey's out, so the house just pulls a stick out and just pulls his coin, like the 4 pile or the 3 pile from Mikey into the center. So pulls the Kenku's money in, and then pulls yours in and pushes his to the center as well. So you've got 12, 16. You've got 19 silver in the center of the table.
Yep.
House reveals last. Mimic knocks their cup over to reveal a 9. Alice?
And she will bring up her cup to reveal a 10.
He leans forward and pulls the coins to himself. House has an 11. He lifts his cup to reveal a 6 and a 5.
God damn it. She nods. Well played.
It's a game of chance.
Yeah, but the lack of tick is a well-known skill.
At least someone can acknowledge this table. Dragonborn just call me fleshy non-revealer because I won't tell them anything with my face. Dragonborn find it fascinating, the study of faces, you know.
I can imagine. It's not something they have.
Or they have a face, they just have the problem with the
lack
scales.
Of being able to express.
Yeah. Right, so house is up. Nice, he says. Mikey is just like, I can't. I've just lost too much today. He stands up, scoops up his dice and just walks away. Fair enough. So, house versus 2.
She'll take a sip of her wine from her pint glass.
Classy, is all that the house says.
She juggles.
You're in the wrong joint for classy. Apart from this in the VIP, in which case it gets very classy very quick.
I can imagine.
The house just puts his dice back into the cup and just shakes them. You can hear his dice rattling around. You see the Kenku mirror the action.
She will remove the 3rd die and do the same.
Mm-hmm. You see house peek at their dice. If you want to insight him, now is the time. The house is stone cold. There is not even, you look at his eyes and not even his eyes reveal anything. It's really odd. It's like the level of dispassion of poker player is obscene.
Yeah.
Do you try and read the Kenku?
I will attempt to.
You see, actually, the Kenku's like bag under their eye twitches ever so slightly, and like you see a single feather like ruffle slightly.
Okay.
House puts down like 10 silver.
She raises an eyebrow.
You actually see him smirk as you react. He doesn't try and hide this smirk.
What does the Kenku do?
Kenku looks at it, looks at the house, and just slides 10 silver into the table.
She will place a gold piece down.
Mm-hmm.
And then place another for a third. Shit.
The house looks at you playing the second one and goes, interesting, and then places a gold coin next to their own pile. You see the Kenku like twitch ever so slightly, and they're like, oh shit, I think I just got played. It's all the Kenku. You can almost see the Kenku's like body language say that.
I will place another gold coin down.
Okay.
For one last.
Okay.
Yep.
Final round of betting then. House places another gold coin, now matching your total bet. So there's now 3 gold in front of House, essentially 3 gold's worth of money. You have 3 gold in front of you. The Kenku looks at it, having not had an extra dice, and just sort of goes and just sticks. Like, they don't take an extra dice, but they match, and they're like, you can almost see the beak tweak ever slightly. They're like, oh shit, I'm going to regret this, but I've done it now. Because 3 gold for a Kenku. This Kenku has money in front of them. Like, they have lots of silver, and there's a fewer gold, and taking the 3 gold off has really dramatically lowered the amount of gold they had. They have a single gold piece left in front of, like, in their pile. Most people don't play with gold, so this is high stakes by most people's standards. So, Mimic grimaces and lifts their cup to reveal a 7. The Kenku shrugs. Gestures to Alice. Yourself?
She raises and reveals a 9.
Ooh. House reveals a 9. Interesting. We don't often get ties in this game, especially not after additional dice.
She's just sat there, keep trying at least to keep her face as straight as possible.
In which case, just between you and I, we'll roll another 2d6 and see who gets the highest. Sound good?
Deal.
So the total prize pool in front of you is your 3 gold, the house's 3 gold, and the Kenku's 3 gold. So 9 gold is on the table.
Yeah.
The amount of gold on the table has drawn some eyes. House looks at, like, you see House look at their dice, and they just push the gold pile at you. Or the set of silver and then the gold at you.
She nods and will pile it up nicely next to her.
House forfeits this round for your spunk. What did you have?
A 7 or a 16, depending on whether ones count as 10s or not.
That's your choice. House forfeited this round. House had a 2 or a 10. So, but House appreciates the fact that you went the extra mile. There's a gasp from a number of people as you get the impression it's not often House does what House has just done.
Cool. She's hopefully made a good impression.
The Kenku is looking at what House has done, and it's just like, you don't see facial expression, but there's a clacking in the beak. He goes, you can stop. She wants to play high stakes. You can clear off because I've already had most of your cash today, so piss off if you've got a problem. The Kenku, like, stands up and leaves. House is looking at you like, I can see why people, like, recommended you to this place. And soon you got in on someone's recommendation, right?
She nods.
Nice. So, how about you say we do a special wager?
Tell me more.
You see, I have here one of these. He places a platinum piece down on the table.
She will match it with 10 gold.
I like you. Take some balls, because now if you'll get 3 dice, you're going to have to pay another one.
Well, let's hope it's not needed.
Let's hope indeed. He slides his cup back over and shakes up his dice.
And she will do the same.
He doesn't look at his. He waits for you to finish rolling.
She just looks at him.
He's just watching. You get the impression he's waiting to see what your reaction is. He's not being subtle.
She is going to attempt, at least, to not react.
Okay.
Would you like... would it be sleight of hand?
That depends. Are you trying to deceive him from, like, not seeing your reaction?
I don't want to stop him. I don't want him to see what my reaction is to that roll.
Okay, that'll be a deception, because sleight of hand is very much about what your hands are doing, not what your face is doing.
Come on, dice gods. There is a grimace.
As you grimace, you just immediately realise what you've done and score your features. He's just looking at you. There's no reaction from him. Okay. He just looks at you and goes. He pulls a single gold coin and just places it next to the platinum.
She just looks at him and shakes her head.
Oh, you're out, are you?
I know when I've lost.
Your cup?
She lifts up, revealing a 4 or a 13.
4 bust, ouch.
Yeah.
He lifts his own cup to reveal a pair of 6s.
See? I know when I've lost.
Gracious enough, he takes the essentially the platinum worth of gold from you. He tucks the platinum coin back into his jacket and still has the pile of gold in front of him now. Perhaps we should go back to lower stakes?
Yeah, I don't think my bank manager is going to appreciate this too much.
I think mine was just boring a hole into the back of my head with his eyes. No, I think he's less pissed with me now.
Sorry, dog.
It's fine.
But yeah, she's up for another round. Slightly less high stakes this time.
He leans back and he puts... there's a number of people watching who've just watched the impromptu high stakes round and are like, whoa. The halfling that's behind you just like pops down 5 copper. Let's get the average people back involved, shall we? A pair of people sit down next to you. One of them like goes out and he dice. This person slurs noticeably. The guy just slides a cup and a pair of dice at him, and he chucks down the 5 copper without even really hesitating.
She'll match 5.
So there's a drunk human sat where Mikey was now sat on your left. And sat to your right is a dragonborn, actually. They have like odd coppery scales. They put down the 5 and pull over one of the house pairs of dice and a cup.
Sorry about that.
That's right.
So you said Dragonborn had sat down next to me?
Yes. There's a drunk human on one side and a dragonborn on the other. Each person's placed down 5 gold pieces, and the dealer, you know, the house, just sort of begins shaking his dice under his cup.
Yeah, she will, as said, match the 5 copper and shake a dice.
I don't see you in the Roll20 anymore, just a heads up.
That's because I've just red boxed.
Ah.
That's irritating. My internet's still out, so it's likely, or still working, so it's likely to be Roll20 rather than my internet. That's always a good sign.
As you are setting about to roll, as you're shaking your dice up, I've just red boxed.
It'll be Roll20 then.
House just plays another 5 copper down, just then pulling them back and changing them for a silver as he rolls. As you see him add a 3rd dice under his cup.
She will do the same, and trade it out for a silver as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there we go. Yeah. The other 2 don't. They just look at you guys doing this like. Okay, so betting. House will raise another 5 copper. As you're the longest other playing member at the table, he looks at you first.
Yeah, she will place another 5 copper down.
The other 2 both play additional copper. So there is now quite a lot of copper on the table. I'll have to do that maths in a minute.
Anyway. 15, 30, 40,
so if we take
50.
out the 2 silver, there's then 5 copper per player. No, 2 lots of 10 copper. So there's 2 silver and 20 copper on the table, basically. Yeah. So 4 silver worth on the table. Because we both paid a silver, so there's 2 silver. We both then put 5 more copper down, so we're 10. No, and they both got 10 copper down, so no, it's 30.
And then we both raised the.
That's with us raising.
Yeah.
No, that's with us raising.
So yeah, it's 30 copper, 2 silver.
Yeah, so it's essentially 5 silvers worth of money. Okay. The other 2 raise and then they haven't taken any extra dice. He looks at the Dragonborn first. The Dragonborn raises his cup, revealing a 3 and a 4 to make 7. The drunk just sort of giggles, lifts his cup and reveals a 3 and a 5 for an 8. House gestures to you.
9.
With 3 dice.
Yep.
House reveals under their cup on their 3 dice, you see 2 2s and a 6. Beats you by 1.
Damn it.
And just leans forward and just using the stick scoops all of the coins back into his own pile. A moment passes as the wine bottle you've now finished is picked up, and there's a gentle voice in your ear. The barman has requested you, Alice.
She nods.
The barman.
And will make her way over to the bar.
As you walk over to the bar, the Dragonborn barman you were talking to previously is sort of perched at one end of the bar, clearly not working at the moment, waiting for you.
She will walk over to him and take a seat at the bar next to him.
Right, so he is one of our best at the dice.
He's also just kicked my ass, so...
Yeah, he also cheated in one of those rounds.
Wouldn't surprise me.
No, he wanted to test you. Surprisingly, he didn't see it. That's why I like him. He's subtle enough to test the people who want in and still keep us in money. Well, what do you know? So there's a pair of people I want to introduce you to, but they're somewhere off in the bar. So he gestures vaguely at where people are sitting.
Yeah.
Under the tumultuous mix match of people. He sort of leans up, gestures into the sort of the melee that is people moving back and forth in the bar. There's a relatively short Dragonborn, dirty brass scales. His name's Rezeth. He's probably somebody you want to talk to. He's a bit of a sneak thief.
She nods. Anyone else?
Once you find him, chances are you'll find her as well.
She nods and... Ooh.
Oh, when I say short, he's short for a Dragonborn, which is probably tall for you.
Most people are taller than me.
It's not difficult, you're a human.
Exactly.
I can hear doggo noises.
Yes.
It's fine. I could hear happy doggy noises.
You can hear doggo sniffing pizza noises.
Oh no, that is definitely happy doggo noises. There's a pizza opportunity.
There is. Elsie, no.
That's right, this is why I play in D&D, so dogs can get involved. A dog versions of Dungeons and Dragons, would that be like Parks and Vets?
Wow, Ross. Wow. But yeah, Alice will go and look for the short, brassy scaled Dragonborn.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to wander off into the melee of the bar.
She will see if she can get a kind of line of sight on him without getting too close into people before she approaches, but if not, she will get as close as needs to be to spot him.
Okay, roll me a perception check as you turn to look roughly in the direction that the barman's gestured him.
Apparently the dice gods hate me.
On a 10, you can see a number of Dragonborn, but the difference in this light between copper, brass, and, red, like certain hues of red, is very minimal. Mm. There's a number of Dragonborn over there. As your brain goes, yeah, this is a Dragonborn of the dominant species in the region. Why would there not be a lot of that sort of coloration?
She will kind of wander over in that direction, seeing if she can spot one that is significantly shorter than the others.
There's one that's sort of stumbling around a little bit that is clearly shorter than the others.
Getting closer, does it seem to be he has brass scales?
Quite dirty brass scales.
Yeah.
As you walk closer, the Dragonborn you're looking at is facing away from you. And they sort of stumble backwards and shove into you. With their shoulders, they almost tumble backwards, sort of shoving into you, pushing you backwards. Where you are, you basically stagger as the weight of this Dragonborn hits you, and you'll push into someone and goes, watch where the fuck you're going, and just like shoves you at like sort of from your like mid back up into the Dragonborn.
I hate being short. She kind of, as she kind of steadies herself after being jostled about a bit, will look up to the Dragonborn.
The Dragonborn, as it realizes he's hit somebody and rights himself, turns and goes, "I'm so sorry."
It's okay. It happens in busy bars.
It really does. Still, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to bump into you. Big guy over there, nudged me, and I just tripped over the carpet. I'm always doing that. I'm on 2 feet. I'm really sorry.
As I said, it's okay. Are you Reza?
Yeah, that's me.
The barman said I should come and introduce myself.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I've got a booth just over yonder. Yes, I said yonder. Deal with it. Look, it doesn't translate from Draconic to Common very well. Okay, it's an old-timey word in Common, I know, but it's what I learned. All right.
She will switch into Draconic and say we can do this if it's easier.
That is actually massively easier for me. He says much more fluently, because Common it was not generated by people with jaws like this. He points
Draconic
his face.
Isn't generated for people with jaws like this.
No, but you have a much better range than I do, because you don't have the problem with your lips are from here all the way along and round. Like it's weird.
Which both jaws?
Look, if I break my jaw, like the whole thing just hangs out. It's like he starts like just like walking towards the bar, like talking at you as he does. Towards the bar, towards his booth he's mentioning.
Yeah, she'll follow and chat as they go.
Mm-hmm. So he pointed you our way for just because I asked if he thought there'd be anybody that might be good for a job I'm looking at putting together.
She tilts her head slightly. A job?
Yeah, he looks round. Just get into the booth. They're quiet places to talk.
She sits down and slides in.
He sort of wedges himself in and scoots up the other side opposite you. Now, first things first, it's not just me. I do have one other person in my crew. Basically, there are some possessions that shouldn't be where they are. And I have a buyer lined up for them.
She nods.
So I'm putting together some, a team, including me, it's not just anybody else, to go and relocate some property that was taken from me.
And where has this property been taken?
Well, it's currently sat in in one of the new warehouses that's been built just outside of town. It's not too big. It's easily you can put it's not difficult stock to move. It's some stuff that I was having brought over from Belcrest for one of the wizards in town here. The less said about that, the better. But it's just like what's inside a strongbox. It's been carried in one of them nice strongbox things. I'm hoping they've not had a chance to open it, but I've got the key for the lock and all. But it was picked up by some less than reputable individuals. Not like myself. I'm perfectly of repute. You get that? He's been quite sarcastic with that. I'm clearly of good repute. Now, first things first, I do have to apologise. My compatriot has already nicked the money off your belt.
Well, there's fuck all left in there anyway, it's fine.
Yeah, no, we know, which is why I'm being told to let you know. Your coin pouch lands on the table in front of you.
She opens it.
Your money your money is still there. Sorry.
She's quite happy about that.
There's not enough in there for us to really bother taking it.
Yeah, you can thank House for that.
Yeah, especially that house. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
They say he could have been a healer,
With fingers like that, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, well, luck of the devil, that one. So, yeah, he sort of rubs his hands together. Well, this is my other member of the team. This is Maria, and a female human sits next to you. She's wearing basic, like, entirely nondescript NPC clothing. Like, it's just so nondescript it hurts. Like, I'll keep talking while you're busy, it's fine. This individual is so easy to, like, just gloss over. It's almost painful to pay attention to her.
Puppy is sniffing my pizza.
Nice.
No.
She's got, like, short blonde hair that's kept quite tied up in, like, a relatively neat bob. Couple of strands falling down over her face. She's looking at you. You can just see the sort of her brown eyes. Like, she's quite tan. She's just leaning forward on the table. Goes, yeah, I'm not sorry about nicking your stuff. I'm just sorry it wasn't worth it.
Sorry I didn't come with more?
You should have done. It's been more fun that way.
Yeah, but then I'd be even more broke.
Well, you'd be less broke because you would only lost the same amount you already have.
But then you would have taken it, so...
Yeah, but then I'm not broke. It's just you. That's called wealth distribution. Wealth redistribution, in fact.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Maria.
She nods. Pleasure to meet you too, Alice.
And she'll shuffle over so Maria can take a seat as well.
She sets herself down quite carefully next to you. So, the barman pointed this way. And you come here on the recommendation of Chris, no less.
She nods.
Chris is a bit of we'll call him a celebrity in certain circles down here.
I knew he had friends, but I didn't realise he had quite so many.
Well, yes. The less said about some of the things he's rumoured to have done, the better. Can't have it getting out into the wrong circles, you understand?
Don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to.
Exactly. But a lot of people were very surprised when he chose to give up after his last heist. But hey, he's still in town. And the guild mistress is quite happy. Of course, the thieves have been a bit of disarray recently. I'm sure you're aware of that, though.
Yeah, issues with Blue Dragons.
Yes, and him taking over the Thieves Guild. Bit of a bastard, that.
Yeah, we have sorted that issue, though.
You have, in some style, too. You'll be glad to know that some of the Thieves Guild is still alive, namely us and some other individuals.
It's good to see.
Well, some properties will get around. Now,
so, this job.
Yes, Reseth sort of rubs his hands together, speaking quite casually, like quietly, but lean forward in Draconic. So you're in.
Depends what it is you want me to do.
Okay. There are a number of strong boxes kept in this warehouse. From what we've managed to scope out already, there are 5 or 6 different like offices in the upper floor of the warehouse where it might be. But we're looking for a particular one. Unfortunately, in order to keep what we're looking for hidden, it was part of a consignment of not entirely like identical lock boxes that are mass produced for knickknacks, like things like jewelry boxes almost. You know, sort of thing.
I'm assuming there's some kind of identifying marker on the correct one.
There is. It's on the lock itself. There's a small engraving of Thieves' Cant. Although there are Thieves' engravings on all of them, but this one is slightly different. The others to us would mean something like chicken scratch. The one we're looking for is pork scratchings. Ransith sort of leans forward and goes, "Look, I was hungry at the time, okay?
It's fine."
Plus, if it's gibberish in Thieves' Cant, it's gibberish in common.
I guess that's one way of looking at it.
If no one understands how my mind works, how the hell are they going to decipher that? Other than the fact it's different.
But do you understand how your mind works? That's the important thing.
Let's not ask questions we don't want the answers to. So we were looking at trying to break in before they move the boxes. A number of them are destined for impounding, as it were, in the dockyard, and others are to be taken to the branch of the central bank that's in the city. We want to hit them before they can do that, before they can move them again. This is like our holdover location, essentially. Lightly defended. There are roaming guard patrols, and there are guards on the roof. There's plenty of long grass and things for us to approach hidden, along with, well, there's a river if we have to get away in a jiffy and need to be unseen.
She nods. And when do you want this to take place?
Well, we're not entirely certain when they're going to move them, but we don't want to jump into this without thinking about it. I was going to be in observation tonight and potentially in the next few days. Although we could just go hell for leather and just go for it. I already have a couple of days observation on it. I have enough plans to know roughly how the guard patrols run.
And in regards to payment, what can you offer?
Well, at this particular point, until we can sell the items, we're
She shakes her head. Not necessarily gold. Information works too.
Oh, good. Well, I can certainly give you some information on how to find the beginning hints of the road to the Thieves Guild hideout.
Practical, yes, but there is something slightly more pressing on my mind at the moment.
Oh?
The Rockall Dwarves. We need to know what they've been doing. And preferably, we need to know now. Especially if those things are slightly questionable. Names don't have to be mentioned, but my friend's in jail for no fucking reason, and we need to get him out.
You are going to... From what we have seen, a lot of the stuff that the dwarves are going to have done that is shady and unacceptable is, as far as high-standing members of society are going to be aware of, is already being reported in the safe location your friend the Drow had set up inside your own tavern under Chris's watchful eye.
She nods.
We would be generally unable to give you any information on foreigners as they've only just turned up. We're more humbly locally rooted as an information network.
I was
I can give you
thinking
for free.
More along the lines of whether they've been seen interacting with people they shouldn't be interacting with. Not necessarily names. I do not want to get anyone you know into trouble. But some leverage if necessary. If we know they've been getting up to shit, they're less likely to continue doing it. And they won't want us bringing it up.
I can try and find some dirt from you. I can give you an IOU for an attempt to find information on them. I'll tell you what, I will give you information on I'll give you the first step that we give to all new Thieves Guild initiates. This test in getting the lockbox. I'll then provide you that first stepping stone as a true piece of information regarding the Thieves Guild, and then I will also attempt to find out about your dwarf problem for you. Would that be sufficient? You're muted.
She mulls this over for a moment and nods.
Good. So, how would you like to approach the building? We could either infiltrate by the river or exfiltrate by the river, or both.
Infiltrating by the river is not necessarily a good idea.
Because we'll be dripping wet. Very true.
You said there was long grasses on the approaches?
Yes, the fields have been left relatively unkempt in certain areas, as most of the labour is going on the new farms, which are a little bit further afield. The warehouse itself is not far from the river. In fact, if you were to run from the roof, I'm pretty sure you could jump into the river from the rooftops. So, she shrugs. I hope you don't mind swimming. Might be the best way to exfiltrate.
Swimming's fine.
Good. I am much better, she says, leaning back, at either straight-up infiltration and the taking of the thing, or potentially being at a distance and offering you Overwatch for difficult situations. Raseth here, the Dragonborn waves. He's more of the muscularly inclined. You get the impression he's very much more built for strength.
Yeah.
But he is clearly surprisingly dexterous, even though he is built for that strength. So it's odd.
She motions to her bow and says, I've generally got Overwatch covered.
Okay.
Even in the dark.
There's a nod. So we need to... So either we all break in individually or we all break in together, or one of us sits outside and does Overwatch. I'll be honest, I'd much rather see you in action before I give you any information on the Thieves Guild.
Understandable.
So I say we break in, and Raseth here holds the exfil door on the lower level, and if we have to jump for the river, we have to jump for the river, and he can make his own way out.
She nods. Sounds good by me.
Good. Now, I guess that means we have to go to the out of the city then.
She nods while I stuff my face with pizza.
Maria and Raseth both stand. I realise I've left the letter out of his name as I'm pronouncing it, so I'm just removing it from his character sheet. Like, you don't get the letter. Raseth and Maria both stand, and they shimmy out of the booth, and they move toward the staircase. They're both leaning back as they're waiting for you as they reach the bottom of it.
Yeah, she will follow out behind him. Making sure her quiver's sat nicely on her hip and she's bows in place and stuff. And she'll make sure to reattach her purse to her belt on the way out.
Yep. So you head up, they head up the stairs to by the door. They look at Dorman, and Dorman looks at them and you and goes, off to do some no good, I presume.
I'd never do such a thing.
Of course not. Don't ask questions you want the answers to. Now, he goes, I would let you out, but Watch Boy is telling me there's a patrol coming. And to be honest, you all look like ne'er-do-wells, so outside door. It's not so much of a door. He slides a grate, and you realise it's like a sewer pipe. It should take you to not far from the city gate. So just keep going straight, don't deviate, just keep going. You don't want to turn left or right. Bad things happen to those that do.
She will let the other two take the lead.
Raseth sort of sizing of these pipes are only really good for people who are much shorter than me. Maria sort of crouches down. Maria's about 5'7". She's not particularly tall. Dragonborn's only like a good 5 inches taller, but it's like, ugh. You see the Dragonborn fold himself into the pipe. Maria just sort of crouches, like she stoops slightly and she's off.
Yeah, Alice will follow in behind them.
Mm-hmm. So as you are moving through the pipe, you have a bit of time just to have some casual conversation if you wish to with your new friends. As I'm trying to find some better music for this.
I was going to say, this doesn't sound very Thieves Guildy.
No, this is not a high-stakes thief mission. That was very much tavern music. Squints at this audio track. No, that's far too horror. Please pause for a musical interlude. This will do. I've turned this right down. So, as you're now heading off on your mission of thievery, you're pushing through.
It's not thievery; it's reacquisition of previously taken goods.
Yes, of course. Maria sort of looks back over her shoulder and looks at Reseth, who's like tries to bank out of the way slightly so she can see you. Just so, what's brought you into this line of work?
I like sticking to the shadows, especially in cities, and my skills lead me towards a certain type of job over others, and hunting gets a bit boring after a while.
You're expanding repertoire from more nature-orientated activities, I suppose.
Yes, you could say that.
Totally get that. That's cool. We're city louts ourselves. Been here our whole lives, so this is sort of, the rat run.
You should try and get out sometime.
To be honest, trees don't do it for me.
They're not for everyone.
No, I've worked my fair share of farms and, labour work. It's not... Just no.
So what is it that brought you two into this profession?
Rasth just chuckles. I'm... Well, to put it kindly, madam, I'm from the same islands that Chris is from. So, I think I followed a very similar route to you. I got recommended.
By Chris?
Sort of.
She just nods.
Recommended is a strong word.
Well, you're still here, so you're clearly useful.
Yeah, I'm not dead or in prison, so I've got that going for me. Maria just sort of chuckles. This is so much more fun than labouring or playing socialite.
Yeah, I found that, I don't know, there is something charming about the underworld of the city.
It can be, but generally not when you're having to traverse through sewer pipes, though it's the best way to lose the guard.
There are worse things to be doing. I mean,
yes.
You could be living down here.
I mean, I'm told there are drow that live in the sewer pipes, or what were once sewer pipes. There's now a religious place. I will never understand drow. Anyway.
Me neither, and I live with one.
Better you than me.
He's not that bad.
Mm-hmm. She just flipped you the bird, by the way. That's Claire, the player of the drow, not Maria. I think we're almost there. She pipes after a second. But no, my family was far too pompous, far too arrogant, far too old money. My brother still runs the family business, and it was a do as you're told and be seen and not heard job, and I just ran away, I'll be honest.
And what was the family business, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Nothing entertaining, nothing quite like asset liberation.
And as we're going, Alice will kind of be keeping an eye out. She's got her umbral sight from Gloomstalker, so the dark isn't an issue.
Mm-hmm. This is very much like, it's just one pipe, it just keeps going straight. You can almost see the end of it now, like you get this a little bit lighter, like you see the dancing of like firelight at the far end. There's a couple of moments where like Maria disappears, moving further forward for a second, and you get as Raseth moves forward more slowly, he is struggling to move through this pipe by virtue of his bulk. But Maria is crouched at the grate that's at the end of this pipe, and she nudges it out of place, peeks her head out, and goes, "I think we're good." She moves out and pulls the grate away so Raseth can exit. You see him unfold, you hear his scales like gently creak back into place. He's like, "My back."
That sounds like it hurts.
Yeah, scales ain't meant for bending like that.
But yeah, she will climb out of the tunnel and either replace the gate or step aside for Maria to do so.
Maria looks at Rasa, who just sighs, picks it up with one hand and just pushes it back into place quietly. You realise as you turn to look around, you're actually under the city wall. Like, you're outside the city now. It's very odd. Yes, so as you take a second to look around, you'll realise you come out on sort of the northeastern side of the city. You're not far from a river, which is what this sewer pipe essentially feeds into. And she looks at you and goes, right, so the warehouse is only about 15 minutes or so brisk walk from here. If we follow the river, we'll stay low. We'll see it long before they can even have a chance of seeing us.
Cool.
And no torches, no lights, just...
I will follow your lead.
As she nods, and Raseth pulls the pair of goggles out of sort of inside his clothing. You realise as you've been going through the pipe, you hadn't noticed, but their clothing has changed. They're both wearing just all black now. They have gloves on, and like they were in thieves' attire, almost like there was some sort of magic at play. But they pull goggles over their eyes. You get the impression they both don't have night vision, like dark vision, so they have aids to let them see in the dark.
Yeah. I will also cast Without Trace.
They see you cast, like, oh, you do magic, do you?
Just a little something to help.
Oh, even better. Nice little boon. Right. We should be off then. Maria sets off essentially along the riverbank. Rest gestures for you to follow Maria. I generally bring up the rear because I'm the biggest.
She nods and will follow behind, trying to stay as quiet and stealthy as possible.
Okay. You see Maria has very much got into stealth mode. Okay.
Thank God for passing that trace.
So, Maria is a straight rogue. I'll describe to you why that made me laugh. Sorry for podcast listeners. So, Alice rolls a 15. We pass that a trace. That's a 25. Maria rolled a natural 1, but she has reliable talent, which, given her modifier, means she's on a 22, which means she's on a 32.
Holy shit!
These two are roguey rogues.
I will get there one day.
And the irony of the fact is, you see Maria like slip slightly, and the magic covers her slip, and you notice even if she slipped slightly on the, she's in nature now. This is not necessarily her forte. She's out of the city.
Yeah.
You realize you can't hear Raseth behind you anymore at all.
She kind of nods, hoping that he's just doing his job very well and hasn't died or anything, really quietly.
You glance back and you just see the riverbank in darkness.
She kind of mutters to herself, God, that's good. And will continue following on behind.
As he rolled with the past that trace, he was on 34.
Yeah.
They went bye-bye.
Getting out-rogued on a fucking 25. It's not fair.
They're pure rogues with reliable talent, man. Like,
I know. I'm not going to get reliable. No, I will. It's level 9, isn't it? I should get reliable.
You should do. I mean, next level you get another lot of expertise. So, so you head, still sneaking, moving slowly around this river. And you get to a point where in the curve where you can see what looks to be like a dock appearing at the edge of a jetty, and you see more and more of it as you go around. And Maria sort of stops and she goes, "There it is," quite quietly to you. It's that one just there. She points to the one that the dock feeds right into it. Like you'd walk up the jetty and you can walk into the warehouse. There are like a trio of like relatively nice looking like riverboats there. And Maria's like, this is where the central bank stores cargo it doesn't want in the city as well. These riverboats bring it up from their larger vessels that anchor at the river before they come into the city. It's also the bank uses the same sort of river channels that she uses like the royal we almost, like it's not, she's not referring to just the two of them, but more used to bring goods around. But that warehouse just there in the middle that leads right to the jetty is where we need to go. It is on this side of the river, so we just have to, it's just a matter of getting up there now. And you can see through the various spots of torchlight that light the interior of this warehouse. You can see the shadows of people moving inside, and there's this like you can almost hear them from even at this distance. The thud as a pair of heavily armed, halberd wielding, like plate armored guard walk around. So yeah, those are the those look like they're actually like the bank's payrolled like high guard. That's interesting. That means someone's no. That means one of their bigwigs has come to check on what's in here, which is a little bit worrying because we don't know what else stock-wise is in here. Only that we know that our stuff's here.
Do we know where inside it's going to be stored?
Our stuff, it's in one of 4 offices on the upper level, which are there's gangways or like balconies that go round the outside. It's just a matter of getting it inside, going up the stairs, and then going round essentially in a circuit. But with 2 of us, we just work parallel. You go one way, I'll go the other. And Raseth will hold the back door open, as it were.
How quietly are we wanting to do this?
I'd rather not have the company guard appear, though if one of their bigwigs is here, chances are they'll be in one of the offices. I mean, if you want to nick the coin from their very coin purse, by all means.
I'm not stupid enough to attempt that. I was wondering if you're worried about the body count. This might stack up if they've got extra people here.
I might do, but I'm sort of hoping we won't get spotted at all.
She nods.
Oh, she pats down her like pockets. She pulls out what looks to be like a headscarf or something. Hands it. You might want to cover the part, like lower part of your face. Your friends are fairly well known.
She nods, and we'll tie it around mask style, like bandit style. So.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And put her hood up.
So the structure you're looking at is it's like a big American style barn almost. It's not a fancy structure. It doesn't look like it's been put up particularly. It doesn't look like it's been here very long either. But these are all new builds. So we have a couple of options. This one's not on its own anymore. It was a couple of weeks ago, but we could climb one of the other warehouses and jump across onto the roof of our target one. We can scale the roof more subtly on the other side, like up the sides, and then go from the roof and down. But as you can see, she points, and you can see the silhouettes through some of the skylights. You can see the silhouettes of like guards with crossbows, sort of walking around on the top, in certain spots on the top floor, like on the roof.
Looking, how many guards can I see moving around from where we are?
From where you're currently stood, like from where you guys are currently stood on the river, you can see 2 guards, one in either corner of the warehouse roof, and you can see 2 heavily armored, like plate armored guards, walking around the outside of the building. Like they're just walking to the far side that you can see, and they're just ducking down the side, like to walk down the side of the warehouse now. So you can see 4, but it'll drop back down to 2 in a second.
Okay. And is, like, from where we are, can I see kind of a line of approach that is going to keep us out of eye line of the 2 roof guards?
if you poke your head over the top, you can see that there's long grass far enough around. You get to just the far side. You can put basically one of these new warehouses between you and the other warehouse, so you'd be basically unseen until you properly right up close.
She will point this out and kind of as a suggested route in.
Maria nods and pulls up over the top, over the lip, and then rolls into the grass to stay low.
Alice will follow suit.
You don't see Raseth anywhere.
Yeah. Again, just assuming he's doing his job.
Yeah. Okay, you can roll me another stealth check. Apparently,
thank God for passing that trace.
Apparently, Maria has to rely on reliable talent.
Is it another nat 1 or?
No, just roll below a 10. Ironically, both the other rogues have rolled the exact same number. They both rolled a 22. So there's both of them get a 32 because passed without trace. As you move through the grass towards your objective, you actually keeping yourself low, so you can only see certain things. You lose track of both your compatriots. You may get to the closest warehouse, and you step forward out of the grass onto the stone foundation. You shimmy up to the wall, and you can peek around, and you're within 30 feet of the jetty. You can see a bit further, about 50 feet from the jetty. You can see the where the guards are patrolling because they come out from between. So this warehouse is only about 30 feet odd wide. It's not very big. It's long. It's not wide. It's odd. It's it's for lumber rather than larger or wider items. And so you can see where they're making a patrol. You can see the jetty. Maria is suddenly just behind you. You hear her coming, but you can tell by how she's moving it's Maria rather than any of the guard.
Yeah. Not big, heavy plate mail footsteps.
No, nor heavy thudding dragonborn footsteps either. Did you want to go by the roof, or did you want to do this differently? If we want to climb the target warehouse, we'd have to take care of those patrolling guards. There's at least 4 of them. There's 2 pairs. They're moving around the building, they're opposite sides from each other. So if you wait a second, you suddenly see the other 2 of these guards in plate armor walk around. There is some time, but not enough for us to climb without one set spotting us, I don't think.
Then let's avoid the climb.
Okay, we could climb this and jump, but we'd probably have to take down at least 2 of those crossbowmen. How good a shot are you feeling?
She kind of puts her hand on her bow, secretly wishing she had bought the other one, but really glad she didn't risk it.
There's a very quiet voice in the back of your head just going, you realise you're still attuned to me, right?
And you kind of think back, how does that help when you're at the other side of town?
God, what did I tell you about the fact that I can do things that you don't necessarily know about yet?
Yeah, that thing that you can do that I don't necessarily know about yet.
Well, no, you see, when you lost me, I just sort of reappeared.
See, you were handed back to me.
Mm-hmm. It's I am very coincidentally very good at what I do. Coincidentally,
any chance you can help me out, Sam?
Would you like to check what bow you're currently carrying?
Yes.
You're not carrying a shitty basic short bow anymore. For the record, he says quietly, if you ever bow cheese on me again, I will fucking kill you.
Noted. She kind of looks over her shoulder, seeing the bow and grins, and she nods lucky.
Good. Raseth, the grappling hook, if you would. You see Raseth. He's still. You see his shape, just the shadow of his figure. You see he's suddenly twirling something behind him. You realise he has a grappling hook and rope. and he hurls it up onto this warehouse. You hear a very faint thud as it scrapes and catches on the guttering. And he carefully walks out and just lets go of the rope, so just pulls into the warehouse wall next to Maria. And you hear him very quietly go, "I'm not climbing that, I'm far too big." So if you two wish to go up there, by all means, I will stay down here and be ready to cause a distraction so you can get away if you cause a ruckus.
Alice will take a deep breath and climb up the rope.
Okay, roll me an athletics check. Done. It's not difficult for you to shimmy your way up this building. It's not a difficult climb. It's not even far either. You do know as you pull yourself up onto the roof, it's a two-tiered roof. So there is another sort of straight up bit to the point.
How high is that bit?
That additional part is only about 20 feet. You could probably
jump it.
Yeah, run foot up and springboard up without too much of a bother. And once you're up, you a couple of seconds pass, and then Maria is stood next to you. She just sort of looks at you and goes, "So, the next bit, and then we'll have to slide down the other side and jump."
Shall I take them out before we have to?
Once we hit the elevation, it might be worth taking them out. She pulls her short bow out. Ready when you are, I suppose.
And Alice will kind of motion to the wall and then do the run up and jump up.
Okay. So you run, you springboard up. It's not even difficult. You grab and you pull up. And there's still a little bit of elevation, so you're still covered. You're still not seen
then
on the other side.
Keep low, take the bow out, and get an arrow, knock an arrow ready.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and on that you can give me another stealth.
Come on, dice. That's better.
Nice. You actually out stealth Maria this time. By 4.
How I'm meant to roll.
You rolled an 18, come on. You can see the one that is closest, the guard, as you peek over, the guard closest to you is in this sort of waterside corner. You get the impression if you shoot him from this angle, if you kill him in a single shot, he will probably just flop sideways and land on the platform. And other than that thud, there'll be no other noise.
That is kind of what I'm hoping for. So once Maria's up, and she's got line of sight on the other.
Maria is aiming at the one that's on this side of the warehouse, but on the other land side, so at the other end.
Yeah.
She looks at you and goes, "On your mark."
And Alice will count down, and I'm on fire.
Mm-hmm. Damn, you hit. You get your sneak attack. Okay, let me just have a quick check. We'll use...
Really should have Hunter's marked as well.
That would have dropped past out the trace, though.
This is true.
You're got the guy you shot, the arrow buries in his top of his shoulder. You hear it,
and as second one doesn't quite hit home, I will fire off the second one.
Mm-hmm. Still hits. That you hear he makes it that gurgle noise just sort of stops and just sort of like flops sideways, hitting the ground. Maria's next to you. You realize she's not looking at her shot; she's looking at your kill. She's like, not bad. Took you a second one though. You note that she's only expended one arrow, and you can't see the guard that she was firing at anymore. Not bad though. He reacted to being shot with your first arrow.
He still moved.
As you were saying this, she basically vaults down the other side, landing silently, and just runs. Like she's that sneak run where she's like essentially deathly silent. And
Alice will follow suit.
She leaps across the gap, landing on the roof like a cat. Like she rolls into it to keep it quiet. Roll an athletics check.
Can I swing acrobatics and parkour the shit out of this instead?
I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you nail it. Like you parkour quiet run across, jump, and you basically mimic what she does. You and she are like, you're quieter than her with this one, but only just.
I will keep the slightly smug grin to myself, and look ahead to see what the next step is now we're up there.
She sort of glances over at the this sort of extra elevation. She goes, right, there should be some. There are skylights. She gestures to where light is clearly blazing up, and there should be some windows on these next tier up to the roof, so you can see through and down. She's quite right. There's like essentially like almost like just open spots on this wall where it's like it lets the wind pass through and things like that. She moves over to one of the skylights, and sort of like peeks over it, and she's like, "Well, this doesn't look down into one of the offices, but it does look down the walkway." She then immediately pulls back. She puts a finger over her lips, like for quiet. She suggests you to come over.
I will do so as sneakily and quietly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And look at whatever she is directing me to.
She's pointing down, and you can see sort of on the walkway, walking almost directly underneath the skylight, is a very, very well-dressed individual. Like short, cut black hair, walking with an aristocratic straight back, wearing essentially black, like very nice black formal attire with that gold trim.
Any visible house sigils or?
Yes, roll me a history check. You do get one, but it's not on. It is on him, but it's the smaller of the ones that's on him. You note the symbol of the essentially the arms for the central bank of Primor. Whoever this is, they're probably quite high up, either in the nobility or in the leadership of this bank.
From where this window looks into, looking around, would I be able to see if any of the other windows look directly into the offices?
So you can only see the ones on this half of the building.
Yeah.
One of them is a lot closer to the door to the office. You get the impression the offices are carefully not under skylights for the
Sensible
exact reason.
Move.
Yeah, for the exact reason you want them to be under the.
God damn it! They foiled my plan.
They haven't foiled your plans so much as they weren't complete morons when they built the place. They're just stupid enough to put in skylights, but hey. That's the aristocratic nobility for you with too much money and not enough common sense. So you head over to the other skylight.
Yeah, see if I can get a better look at something slightly closer to the offices. Just
okay. As you're going to go, Maria goes, "I'll use this one to go in and back this way, and then I'll loop around. If you that one and across, then you should be a much shorter distance inside."
She nods, and will do so.
If they see you and you can't shut them up, just kill them. and then run, or just run. Up to you, really. Ranseth will probably make a distraction downstairs. God knows why he's planned it. Usually involves fire. So.
Okay, I will keep my eyes open for fire.
That's only if he hears the alarm go up. So you see that she's fiddling with the lock on this skylight. I'm just gonna actually pulls it up. By the way, that aristocrat's heading under towards the one you were just in. So you might want to give it a second.
She nods. She'll make her way over.
She jimmies the skylight. You see Marie jimmy the skylight open and just slip in underneath it and drop down. She's gone.
Yeah, I will wait for the aristocrats to move past the skylight, and then once they're some way down the corridor, go about unlocking it.
Okay, roll me a. Do you have thieves' tools?
I believe I do.
If you do, roll me a thieves' tools check. And while you do that, I'm going to pour myself some more drink. And I'm going to tell you
what tribute you want in Dex?
Duke's Stoke Tea, s'il vous plaît. I have got music running. It's just not very, very loud at all. I might just change it back to this.
That is an unfortunately poor roll.
Okay, so you jimmy with the skylight, which is locked. There is a slight scraping noise, but you hit click, and you can get your hand under it and just jimmy it open ever so slowly.
Yeah, she'll kind of open enough to be able to get line of sight under to see if she is out of sight of the if they have kind of gone around the corner.
So what has happened is as you've opened it, you can peek in and you get like another 10 feet out of where you could see, and there's like a solid wooden wall with a heavy wooden door. As you're looking at it, you see the fact that the noble is sort of hunched over the door, like unlocking it. He is being escorted by what looks to be a rather built, heavily armored bodyguard with very similar armor to the guys who are patrolling outside. He pushes the door open, enters, and doesn't look back. The guard sort of plods after him and just lets the door close. You hear a click locked behind them. You're muted.
Yeah. Do the guards seem to follow him behind, or do the guards stay on this side of the door?
The single bodyguard he has with him has followed him in.
Okay. In that case, once the door's locked behind them, I will kind of lower myself in and drop down as quietly as possible, making sure not to slam the skylight on the way through.
Mm-hmm. You drop down. You're pretty much silent. As you glance behind you, just to double check, you just see Maria unlocking a very similar looking door at the other end of the hall, or the other end of this sort of walkway.
Yeah.
Now that you've dropped in, you sort of check where you're stood. There is like you've got it is like a 15-foot wide sort of walkway with like solid support under it, so you can't see through it, and then like a solid banister on one side with a wall leading up to the roof on the other.
Yeah.
So you can see over the top, like if you peek, you can see the entire internal area of this warehouse, and you can see over to the other side of the other walkway.
Is there anyone else that I can see on the other side of the walkway at all?
The other side of the walkway, there's nobody on the other walkway on the opposite side. But if you peek over the top and look down, there are a number of other. They look to be like almost like warehouse workers. They're not armored. They're not armed. They're just like with their like clipboards essentially and like quills. They're taking inventory. A pair of guards. These are much more likely armored, like wearing leathers. Does walk up and down the rows, like looking around, checking, like they're patrolling for just in case someone's sneaking in, because there's no open. Like the either end of this warehouse is just like open.
Yeah.
So
seeing that there's unlikely to be someone to spot her up here with being super sneaky, she will slowly make her way around and check the offices.
Okay, so that, as I said, that first door that's
Yeah.
in front of you that Noble's gone through is like the first office.
Yeah, so I will leave that one for now.
The only way around is to go back to where Maria has just gone and follow Maria, basically.
Yeah. So if there are any more doors between me and where Maria dropped down, I'll check them on the way past.
There's a couple of side doors that look to lead to much smaller rooms. They have like they're wood up to a certain point. Then there's like almost like a viewing window that is like iron barred.
Yeah.
As you peek over, you see there are a number of like storage boxes in there. Like they're not quite lock boxes, but like chests basically. They're on like sets of shelves that mean you can open the box on the shelf and they wouldn't hit the top.
But they don't match the description.
No, none of these are lock boxes. They're much too big for that.
Yeah. And she'll check the next one as well. She makes her way down.
You check the next one. It's very similar to the one you've just seen, except these are like coin chests rather than like item chests.
Yeah.
So you get to the door that Maria just picked and went through, and she this door is just locked behind her, so it locks as soon as it shuts. You check, like you try and open it doesn't open. Do you want to try and pick it as well? You are muted, Beth.
If she's got this one, I will move to the next door up.
So the offices take up like that whole corner segment. So you're on one walkway. You have to go through one of these offices to move on to the next walkway.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I don't know if I described that properly.
In that case, she will make her way through the same door Maria went through and see if she can pick that lock.
Okay, roll me another thieves' tools. You recognise almost immediately this has been picked previously, and you're like, okay, I've dealt with this one before. I know that this kind of lock it clicks after a few jimmies. You push it open, and you don't see Maria in here. You do, however, hear, "Oh, it's you. I didn't expect you to follow me."
They went in the other office.
Yes, they're going. It doesn't stop you sneaking round them, killing them, or moving past them.
I also don't know the layout of the offices, so I don't know if walking in is just going to see them seeing me.
True. What I'm looking for is not in any of these side areas I've currently checked. If you want to sweep the far side, you see her as she appears sort of around a corner. She's looking at a set of shelves on sort of the left hand as you walk in, so she's obscured from both doors.
Yeah.
She gestures over the desk she's working at and rummaging around to a series of like essentially shelves like you've seen in the other rooms that have these like there's like a good 10 of these lock boxes that you had described to you earlier.
Okay, she'll make her way over and check for the thieves' cant symbols on them to see whether any of them read pork scratching.
You see chicken scratch on all of them, bar one, which has Snufflebox written on it.
Not what we're looking for, she just kind of mutters to herself.
Sorry, what?
Snufflebox?
Oh, yes. She walks over to it. That one belongs to a different member of the guild.
Leave as is then, I'm guessing.
Essentially, unless you want to try and steal from somebody who's far, far more terrifying than us.
Not really.
Good. I didn't realise they were shipping anything with this run.
But yeah, not finding anything with pork scratchings written on it, she will see if there's anywhere else in this office that needs checking.
Mm-hmm.
And
if you do come across one of the other offices, that is essentially has written on it Williamson in Thieves' Cant. That should be full of coin. If you want to pick that up, by all means, I'll take some of the coin from you. Go for it. It's someone who's no longer with us.
So they're not going to mind?
No.
She nods and will try and pick or unlock the door and move to the next walkway.
So interestingly, the door, when you try and open the door from the inside, it just unlocks. Like, it's not even locked.
Yeah.
It'll open inward. It won't, like, it'll open from, if you try and open it from the inside, but not from the outside.
Yeah.
It's odd. It's like it's a security door or something.
Yeah, she will open the door and slip out quietly onto the next walkway.
You realise Maria is still rummaging through, like she's looking for something else as well.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't follow you. As you go about to go through, she goes, I will double back and go the way you were going to go.
She nods. Okay.
So you walk out onto this walkway, you peek over to the far end, you see the noble that you didn't want to follow is walking along essentially parallel to the way you are now going.
Subtle.
Yeah. It's almost like someone higher up is checking on some valuable assets that's in the building.
She will quietly make her way down this walkway towards the next office, checking just having a look through the windows of the cupboards on the way down.
The first cupboard you look through, there are just more coin boxes. The first room has, like, on the very top shelf, there's like 4 boxes, just have platinum written in Draconic on each one, and then gold, silver, and copper. There is just a little note pinned to the door that just reads, "We do not use Electrum. Electrum is not a valid currency." Anyone tries to sell you Electrum, tell them to jog on.
But yeah, she will make her way down to the next office, and assuming that she will kind of be going, that they will be in the next one on the next corner, she will pick the lock.
Did you check the other cupboards, or?
Yeah, on the way past.
So the next door you come to, actually, of these cupboards isn't like the others. It's completely solid, and it has just written on it, "Valuable but cursed," in Draconic.
Yep, we'll keep walking past that one.
The next one just has written on it, "Do not open."
Noted.
And then you reach the next office door.
I don't want to know what they're keeping in this place. Yeah, she will pick the lock on the next office.
Okay, roll me a thieves' tools.
That is a natural 20.
On a natural 20, the door, like, you've now gotten the hang of these ones. You pick it open, you push it open, you become distinctly aware as you slip inside, there are other people in this room. There are 2 other individuals. Both of whom are Dragonborn. They are quite large, quite tall, and they are hunched over different desks. You can hear the sound of parchment quill on parchment.
From where I am, can I see any of the shelves?
You can. Across the far side from you is the boxes you're looking for.
Okay. And can I get to them without being spotted? Or, like, is there a way round where I can avoid line of sight, or am I going to have to be sneaky?
You'll have to be sneaky, or you're going to have to off them.
Pass without trace is still up. I'll do it sneaky.
Okay.
It lasts for an hour, so...
Mm-hmm. You'll have to go around the outside of the room.
Yep. I can do this. That's 36 with pass without trace.
Nice. So you sneak around the outside of this room, like keeping just to the very wall. You know, as you're moving around, there's cubby holes, there's like nooks that you can duck in, like that you could probably wedge yourself into. It's quite. There's a few places to hide. There is a cabinet, like a wooden cabinet, that's there as well. That's partially open. That is just empty. They've just left it open.
Yeah.
But you sneak around to the boxes you are looking at. You are distinctly aware, other than the cabinet, there's like that you could hide in. There's no cover between you and where. If these people look up, you're going to have like a split second, like keeping an eye on them. If they start looking like they're going to look up, you have to get in that cupboard or you're going to be seen.
Yeah. So keeping an eye on them, she will check the boxes.
You check the boxes. You can roll me a perception check and an investigation check.
That is a natural 20 on perception and a 9 on my investigation.
Okay. So you're checking over these boxes. You find the one that says pork scratchings on it. However, as you're going, oh, this is it, and you're looking straight at that box, it is about if you stand fully up, which so you'll essentially to stay low and sneaking, you're having to look right up at it. It's where your head height would be fully upright. You hear the sound of the door that is about 3 feet to your right have a key put into it.
Shit. She will duck into the cupboard and pull the door to.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like it's closed.
As you pull it to, you've had to stand up upright because there's not enough for you to crouch. Yeah. You're looking at a vent, so you can see out, but they can't see in. Essentially, unless they're right up at it, you won't be able to see in.
But yeah, I will keep the door pulled to, so at least it looks like it's closed, and keep an eye on.
You hear the door quick open, and both the individuals, you see them because you can see them through the grill. Both stand up and go, "Sir." They offer polite nods. This individual, at ease, you two, whatever. Your night scribes, I don't really care. How is the stock take coming? Nothing that we didn't expect to go missing is missing, sir. There's a heavy set of footsteps, and that huge bodyguard is now stood in front of the cupboard you are hiding in. And the shipment from our less than reputable irritation still all here, though I suspect someone might try and come and claim some of it at some point. Says this individual.
At this point, she is definitely paying attention to what's being said and trying to make notes of difference in voices and stuff like that. So if she were to hear it again, she would recognize it, or at least try to.
Well, you hear there's a creaking as a box is opened. You can't see which box it is from where you are. I'll just be keeping these for myself for the time being. There's a thud as the box is closed. And we shall see what happens, shall we? Regardless, I think I'm done here for the evening. Besides, it's useless without the complete set. Especially to them. And there's you hear the door that you enter the room through creak open, and the guard moves out, the bodyguard steps away from the cabinet you're in. And you watch as the noble exits, the bodyguard exits, and then the two stock takers exit. And the door swings shut behind them.
So, as far as I'm aware, the room is now empty of people.
As far as you're aware, the room is now deserted by yourself.
Okay. So, she will wait a few minutes, just so they can get some distance between them and the door. And then slowly and quietly step out of the cupboard and make her way back to the shelves to see if the box is still there.
The box you were looking at is still there.
Is it easy? What kind of size are we looking at?
It's like your standard lockbox size. It's not. I'm holding my hands apart like you'd get. I don't know how to describe this.
In regards to an A4 piece of paper.
It is probably about that as the base. Yes.
And a couple of inches deep.
Yeah, so it's a solid, heavy wooden box that has been reinforced with metalwork. Carrying it is a dick. It's designed to be secure. It's heavily locked. The mechanism on the front that you've seen the thieves' cant engraved into is an intricate locking mechanism.
Yeah, it
can be picked, but it's designed to not be picked, basically. You do have a note that the one you were looking at has recently it's shifted slightly. It's been handled recently.
Can I see the Williamson box?
Roll an investigation check.
A 24?
You can. It is actually about your foot level. It's on the ground.
I will attempt to pick the lock on that one, just to get. Because I'm assuming all the locks are the similar kind of design.
Same kind of design from what you can see.
Yeah.
But what you can see and what's reality underneath it is debatable.
Obviously, it's going to be different keys and stuff, but she's going to assume that if they're all being made by the same person, all of the same design, they'll have at least similar locking mechanisms. So she will attempt to pick the lock on the Williamson box first.
Okay, roll me a Thieves' Tools.
It's a 13.
There is a hiss from the lock as you try and pick it. You can roll me a Constitution saving throw as a vapor hits you in the face.
Yeah. I'm going to drop my inspiration on this.
Okay.
An 18.
You take 4 points of poison damage and you avoid being poisoned.
She will return that box to where it was and grab the pork scratchings box and do what she can to get back out.
Are you going to try and unlock that box, or are you going to just try and take the whole box?
She's going to attempt to take the whole box.
Okay.
Because...
Which way are you heading? Back the way you came in, or are you heading out in a different way?
I will go... How tall are the ceilings?
What are you
from
thinking?
The walkway to the skylight?
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's nothing for you to jump off of to get to that height. You're going to struggle.
That's what I was thinking.
You'd have to rope and hope it catches on something.
Okay, in that case, in like relation to where she is at the moment, where's the nearest staircase out of here?
There's one on each walkway, essentially. Though there's one major one on each of the long walkways, and there's 2 small ones on each of the short walkways. So where the guy has exited is a short walkway. So they'll be taking one of the 2 little staircases, you'd imagine, which are right by the main door out.
Yeah.
Well, these main sort of ways out. The bigger staircases that generally look like they're used for moving goods are on the much longer sides. Essentially, the building is a large rectangle.
How rattly is the box?
As you pick it up, it's not awfully rattly. Do you shake it?
I'm just like, if it's moved, does it make lots of noise? Like, is it going to rattle around no matter how sneaky I am? Or can I be gentle with it and it not make noise?
You'd have to be very gentle with it. As you, move it, there is a faint sound of something rolling inside of it.
Okay, so there is still something in there. Mm-hmm. That's okay.
But you get by the fact that it's rolling, something's probably missing.
Yeah. She will kind of turn the box slowly to try and have everything settle in one end, just to kind of limit how much it can move, and kind of tuck it kind of under her arm, under her cloak. So she can still... It will be a short draw, but she would still be able to draw if necessary.
Yep.
And attempt to go out the same door they did, and down the staircase, the closest staircase to the door.
Okay. As you're moving, you hear the door that you aren't going to creak open, and you see Maria sneak into the room as you're sneaking away.
Okay, if I see it's Maria, I will stop and wait for her to catch up.
She spots you after glancing around the room and essentially moves over. You okay? You got it?
Something's been taken.
Shit, really?
He said, the noble-ish guy said it's useless without the whole set, to them at least, and took something.
Bollocks. Can I...
But
box.
hand the box over.
She takes the box, Oh, did you try and pick the Williamson one?
I did. I figured that one would be better to pick than this one because no one's going to notice that one's been damaged. So.
Yes, they have a nasty trap. Sorry, I didn't realise you'd not do it properly. Sorry.
It's all right. Mistakes happen.
She plucks a key out of her pocket and shoves it into the lock on this one. You see her then pull the box creaks a little as it opens. Shit, sorry, too enthusiastic.
Okay.
She opens it and she's like, "Oh, fuck! He has taken them."
Looking into the box, what does it look like they are?
There is a set. So it's essentially it's the inside of the box, essentially mostly velvet, and there's some cushions. Sat on top of a cushion is molded, sort of a 2-tier, almost like display. On the top are a series of figurines. Half of these figurines are missing. On the tier below is what looks to be a set of vials, and it is clear that at least half of these are also missing.
That doesn't look good.
No, the bastard's taken half of it.
So what do you want to do about it?
This is things, they're on his person, and we kill him, he may destroy them by falling on them.
This is true.
And he's going to be... She moves over to one of the walls to see if you see her dagger, goes between two of the wooden boards, and she just heaves it gently. It's just so enough so she can peek through. And he's already away on his riverboat. Pissant.
I think that's going to be an issue for another night.
Yes. Bugger.
Let's get what we've got.
Yeah, 1 second. She sneaks over to... She, moves quite quickly over to the Williamson box. She looks at it. She fumbles with her thieves' tools, leaning over the box. Just left a bit, right a bit, jiggle it, and you hear a click. She pushes that box open, succeeding where you failed. She reaches in and pulls out a catch. She chucks a pair of pouches at you.
Catches it.
She goes, "Don't look at them just now. Just shove them in your coin belt, and we'll get out of here, and we can look at them later."
She does.
You see, she's basically taking as many she's taking pouch after pouch to pouch and layering it inside her cloak or on her attire. Okay, she closes it, pushes it back, relocks it. She goes up, she takes the velvet, she ties it into a makeshift pouch. You see her shove it into a bag she's carrying. Not really great with only half of them, but it'll do for the time being.
We're putting the box back, or
no, we'll leave it. Partially because they know they shouldn't be moving it, and partially because she pushes the lid of the box over, and you see it's trapped. There's a series of mechanisms on the inside. If you just jiggle this a bit and that a bit, take one of these. She pulls out a. It's like a vial, but it looks like it's made of almost like card and parchment. She places it where the velvet was, sort of inside the box. She takes two of the wires, the funnel mechanism, and puts one on either side of this, punching it into this little vial thing. And then you relock it. She closes it and locks it. This is now highly explosive.
She takes a step back.
She leaves it on the desk. So when they try and open it, pop.
Let's hope we're as far away from here as possible when that happens.
Oh, yeah, it'll only blow out the broom. She shrugs. Don't worry, it's not enough to kill anybody.
Just enough of a fuck you for stealing my stuff, yeah?
Basically, it'll do enough property damage, and I might put them in the hospital for a little while, or in the temples for a little while, but won't kill them.
Let's get out of here.
Yep, Scarlets are out, too high to jump to. Tried.
I didn't.
There's a noise from outside.
Which door?
You can't really tell. Someone comes, you then hear, "Hey, look what I found." from downstairs. Maria's like, oh crap. She moves over to the door that you were about to exit through and opens the door. Quick.
She will rush out the door.
She'd peek, like, as you rush out, do you peek over to see what's going on downstairs? Yeah. You peek over, and someone's holding the grappling hook that you guys used to get up onto the roof of the other building. And Maria's like, oh, fuck, I forgot to pick it up. Shit. Sorry, that's my faux pas. Happens. You've done wonderfully, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, down the stairs and out. Hopefully they won't raise too much of it. There's a thud as you realise that as she looks down the stairs. Oh, the guards that patrol were at either end of the warehouse when the guys run in, so they just walked into the archways. Oh, for fuck's sake.
In the office, were there any windows out?
Nope.
Are there any other windows that we can see on this level?
Nope.
Fucking damn it. Skylight's too high.
She's thinking,
Boost me up.
She hands you the velvet bag. Just in case. She does the whole cups her hands.
Yeah, and Alice will.
She pushes you up. You're not quite high enough.
Yeah.
She goes, I guess subtlety's about to go out the window, and cover your head. I'll throw you. She literally just hoists and throws you up. And there's a smash as you go through the skylight, and glass just pitters down around you. Like, oh shit! It bounces off you, and you're like, oh god, that's probably bad.
As kind of get up through the glass, pull myself up so and I will unhook my rope from backpack and throw it down so she can climb up.
You go, what the fuck? Up there! And you hear the sound of someone hoisting a crossbow. She grabs the rope and starts climbing. She's like, pull it.
She pulls it up as quickly as she can while trying to keep low enough to not get a crossbow bolt in the head. Yeah.
As Maria comes over, a bolt round rips up, and you see it clips her leg as she's clambering over. You just hear, fuck, that stings.
I will slap her on the back with the cure wounds.
Thank you. Your spellcasting was useful. # not me.
And then, put the velvet in my bag, rope over my shoulder, and I will attempt to jump down off the roof and out.
Mm-hmm. She looks at you and goes, straight over, just into the water, go.
And she will do so.
They didn't see you, they saw me, go.
She'll run down and dive into the water.
As you're running, she goes, we'll meet you at your place. Just not tonight.
Stay safe. And then she'll dive in.
And you're gone. You hit the cold water. And it's a shock to the system.
Try and keep my heartbeat as steady as I can, and basically try to swim as far across the river as I can before I have to come up, force myself to come up for breath.
Yep. You get a good distance away, and as you're sort of force yourself to come up for breath, you see Maria making the jump back across to another warehouse. As you see this, you see two guards with their crossbows poking over their heads over the peak of that roof. You see bolts flying out sort of around Maria as she's doing this, like they've taken aim and fired.
Do any of them obviously seem to hit her, or does she seem to get away okay?
You can't really tell. She lands on the other roof. She rolls as she did previously, and she keeps moving.
As long as she's still moving, that's a good sign. So
she vaults the other roof, and you do see one clearly hit her. And then as the other one is going to fire, there's a bang. And you just see fire.
That'll be the distraction.
You see fire just rolling up the other side from the other warehouse. And then as this is happening, you see Maria sliding down the other roof. There is a smear behind her that you can, in this increasing darkness, is just black to you, but you peg that's probably blood.
Yeah. So she will
she rolls. Like, you see her. Essentially, she tumbles when she reaches the edge, and sort of she's now falls off the roof. She does land on her feet, but she staggers. You're being pulled by the current out towards the ocean, so you're going towards Frey Hollow in a way. As you're sort of pulled back under by the current, you see her like just rip a crossbow out of her side.
Once I could kind of feel the current winning, she will start kicking again to the far bank.
She just bolts. She heads off in a direction away from the city. She figures you'll be going toward the city. She heads toward the forest.
Yeah, she will make her way over to the far bank and kind of try and dry off a bit before heading back into the city.
As you're drying off, you can see in the distance clearly there's this massive fire that's consuming the 3 warehouses that you were just at. You're just drying off when suddenly you're forcibly dried off by an explosion that goes off. You get the impression that's probably not the charge that Maria left inside the building.
Yeah.
Massively too big for that. Like, you're illuminated fully for a split second, and then you are warm as a shockwave rolls over you.
Either they've got explosives in there they probably shouldn't have, or something's gone terribly wrong.
Yeah, that's a reasonable assumption.
Yeah, so she will slowly kind of make her way back.
You are grabbed by the back of your neck and hoisted up, and you hear Rath's voice, keep moving.
Moving.
He's pushing you back towards the onto the path. I was on the bridge when the guard are now running the other way with water. Just keep walking this way.
She will.
He is jogging a little bit faster. He's like, just make it like we're running away for the safety of the city. They won't even question us. As he's running, he's like,
she will grab his hand then and start running.
And as they're running, like he's making it a big shot. You pulling him in toward the city. It's like big explosion, like a big fire, bang, and guards are impossible. We know, they shout as they're running.
Yeah, but she will make a big thing of trying to get him safely getting in the city and not wanting to be anywhere near it. And
roll me performance. Fuck. Don't worry, he's not good at this either. This is hilarious. Or is it deception? Roll performance and a deception, and we'll see what happens. Because you're both performing and lying. Nice. The guard is like, just get in the city, get to safety, we'll go see what's going on.
And thank you, and head in, pulling Rasif with her.
Yeah, once you're in the city, he drags you around to one side to one of the shady alleyways. The roles of dragger and draggy suddenly reversing.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you have it?
Part of it. They took
Part of it?
Half.
Fuck, not the noble prick who got on his boat. Piss out.
They knew we were coming.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Williamson, okay, look, let me be real. Williamson and Pargo were buddies. Pargo and Williams had a contingency for just in case Pargo went down. He revealed a good amount of our routes to particular members of the bank, and they're now trying to reclaim a lot of our assets. We're trying to liberate them. That's why I was putting together this crew. Do you have the stuff you did have, or is it with?
I would like to insight him.
By all means. He seems to be being genuine to you. He seems really quite concerned about these items. Can I have them, please? Come on, like, out of the two of us, you're the one that really does need to get caught with contraband.
She hands them over, as Maria said she'll come to my place in a couple of days.
Right, fair enough. Let this all die down a little bit. Do you want me to take that bandana from you, just in case?
Yeah, she will take the scarf off and pull her head down, make herself look slightly less shady.
Good. Cheers. Give us a couple of days to look into your shit on the dwarves for you, and we will meet you at yours. Well, one of us will. The other will probably do recon for the next thing we need to reclaim. Sorry.
Let me know.
We'll do. Sorry, the guild's in a bit of a state. We got a new guild head, but Pargo fucked us good and proper.
Yeah, he did all of us. Don't worry.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you for your help today. Appreciate it. We'll get you what you're owed. You got 2 new bags. You get them they come from the Williamson box.
Yeah.
That should compensate you for the time being. But we'll get you that info that we owe you.
Thank you.
Trust me, we pay our debts, and we'll be square by the end of it. All right.
Nice to know Chris didn't lead me down the wrong path.
Oh, Chris still likes the excitement of knowing that someone else is doing something bad. That's why he likes adventures. He's an adrenaline junkie, but he's pushed past what he deems a good age for it.
You never know. We might get him back in the field at some point.
I doubt it. I really
no,
do.
We're paying him far too much.
That's probably true, but he appointed our current head of the guild, so he shrugs. Think on that. That's how famous he is. His word got someone head of the guild ship. Pats her on the shoulder. I got to bounce. That's right.
Stay safe.
He jogs off into the guts of the city, like to the back streets. Heading, You see him head down to the lower level of the city and away.
Yeah, and she will, as normally as possible, make her way slowly back towards the pub.
Mm-hmm. You enter the tavern. You realise it's suddenly been quite a lot longer than you thought it had been. There is nobody there. It's been closed for the evening. The moon is very high in the sky now. You get the impression tomorrow you're probably going to be very tired. As you walk in, there is a red-scaled dragonborn leaning against the bar with his arms crossed, looking at the front door as you walk in.
Evening. Fancy drink?
Yeah, all right. What do you want? Let me guess. Red, not too expensive.
Bloody hell, wine travels fast.
No, it's just you can't order a drink from my brother and me not know.
Your brother?
In many senses of the word. Possibly not the one you're immediately assuming, I'll admit, but he picks up a bottle of red and pours you a glass in a pint glass, hands it to you.
She chuckles as she takes a seat.
He's a classless dick, that one, but he does his job.
Oh, they don't seem too much of a bunch of assholes.
Well, some of them are not bad. I got rid of most of the bad ones as Pargo was fucking them. I say I issued the orders and told them what to look for. You guys did the actual dragon slaying.
Zansk and the others have no idea just who you are, do they?
No, they don't, and I fully intend to keep it that way.
I won't share your secret, don't worry.
I appreciate that.
But she will take the 2 coin pouches out of her bag and put them on the bar.
Let me guess, Williamson?
She nods.
Keep them.
How fucked am I?
In what sense?
Like, if he and Pargo were connected, she'd kind of...
Oh, he should be 6 feet under by now.
She will open the coin pouches, see what's in there.
There is about 400 gold in there.
Nice.
Between the two of them, so 400 gold is 200 in each.
Nice.
Williamson should be at 6 feet under in the next couple of hours, so don't feel too bad about taking dead amounts of cash. That's what adventurers do anyway, isn't it?
Apparently so.
Regardless, they don't ask. I don't tell. You asked, and I've given you insight. So let's just not go tell them too much, all right?
Don't ask questions you don't want to know the answers to.
Exactly. That's a good philosophy, that one. Though my invitation for a vacation back to my home does stand for when these guys are finally out of prison and not want to de-stress for a bit.
You never know. They might actually take you up on it. Though
you'd like
Zansk has got 1,000,001 things on his to-do list.
You're all going to have 1,000,001 things on your to-do list because that's life.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? Is you'd like the place that I said you guys to go, partially because there's a jungle and stuff, so some different game for you to find.
Nice.
Yeah, well, nothing beats home.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? I'm assuming you met, was it Razith?
And Maria.
Maria. Yeah, not too bad. They've got talent. Still up and coming, though.
Oh, they're sneaky little shits.
Maria, especially.
Like, there's not many people that can show me up when it comes to sneaking, especially when, like, even with Pass Without Trace Up. But my god, they both just vanished. It was quite impressive.
Well, without tooting my own horn, it's not often I take directly trained people, so... I think the last person I directly trained before them, well, actually, I think I recommended her to be the head of the guild. I don't know if they actually elected her, mind.
Well, I was told something about you being the reason the new head of the guild was the head of the guild.
Oh, so they did elect her. Well, that's a bit of a change. Normally,
It seems so. Sorry, I'm wrestling with a 6-stone staffy.
That's all
Elsie, lie down.
But no, it's good. He pulls out he pours himself a beer and just sips. That noble you spotted, black hair, black clothes, gold trim, right?
Yeah. Who was he?
That is Alec Ravensbane.
Do I recognise the name at all?
You can roll me a history check. The problem with you rolling history checks like this for known people is the Oaks are relatively isolated, by virtue of the fact they lived in the fucking forest all the time.
I mean, no. I rolled a 4 anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
No. You don't recognise the name. Chris goes, he's one of them landed economic elite types. He owns quite a big estate just north of here before you get to the mountains. Throws big parties from time to time. He's difficult, I think is the best way of phrasing it. I think I'm the only one that's robbed him and lived so far. There's something off about him, and I don't care to go back and find out what it was.
Do you know what we were after tonight?
If it's what Williamson took, then I suspect I do know what you're after. I also think I know the buyer, so... He shrugs. Again, it's not really my place to pry. If they haven't told you, they've got their own reasons for not telling you. But I have my suspicions. It was a set of figurines, right?
And vials, half of which have been taken by the posh twat in the gold trim.
Oh, they put them together. You never consolidate your shit into one shipment. That's a fucking rookie mistake from whoever did that. I would not be surprised if it was either Westbridge or the Bellcrest lot that did that. Shit.
Well, whoever it was, half of it's missing. And the posh twat drove away with it on his boat.
Right, okay. Well, that's something that Maria and Ratith and yourself are going to have to deal with. I am retired, and I don't care to get involved with Alec Ravensbane anymore.
I don't blame you. He doesn't seem like the nicest fella, and I've only looked at him for a steel grate.
Trust me, it's even worse when he's looking at you direct and is pissed with you.
And his bodyguard's fucking huge.
Yeah, guy's somewhere between a Dragonborn and a Goliath or something. It's weird.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. Don't get punched by him. That's my advice.
I'm not planning on getting punched by anyone or letting anyone get close enough to punch me.
It's fair. I can understand that.
Pat self.
I'm pretty sure I'm still realigning my jaw from time to time. He sips from his drink.
She will sip from her pint glass of wine.
Yeah. So hopefully the house didn't clean out you too much. So you send you to the halfling.
He was surprisingly nice.
So
he cleaned me out, but he gave me a nice boost first.
He baited you with the platinum, didn't he?
I knew when I was beat, though. And
yeah.
He seemed to respect that.
that earns you some cred knowing when you're beaten. That's how you learn. He also cheats every time that platinum coin comes out.
Yeah, so I've been told. Kind of pissed I missed that one.
Don't worry, they all do the first time. It's when you can spot him, and so there's two types of way you can beat him there, or you earn his respect. Either spot him and let him know you've seen him subtly, or react not at all. If you don't see it and you don't react, he knows you haven't spotted him. If you can spot him, not show him, and then not show it in your face, then he'll be impressed.
I'll bear that in mind.
Yeah. They're also sussing out what you're good at. Be honest, if they put you straight to Razeth and Maria, they're probably either looking for you to be good at thievery or as a pair of eyes. They're either someone lethal or someone good at nicking stuff or someone that's good at scouting.
I kind of fit the bill on all three counts.
Yeah, you ain't a straight rogue, mate. You got versatility, I'll give you that. But you're no sneak thief, I'll give you that. Not yet, anyway.
A little bit of experience behind me. I don't think I'll be too bad.
Yeah, 2 sneak thieves disappeared in front of you, though. They're sneak thieves.
It's scary.
Yeah, just a reminder, wherever there's a thieves guild, there's an assassins guild.
Keep your head low, don't cause trouble.
Basically, that's the best thing you can do. Oh, if someone does give you shit, beat them in whatever format they make you fight them.
I will do.
Cool. He necks the rest of his beer and then just slides it into the dirties pile. Best to get some rest, because I think you've got a long one tomorrow.
Yeah. Finally get this trial over and done with. Get rest at home.
My prediction, it'll walk scot-free.
If Xance gets his way, then yeah. But that's because the dwarfs have majorly fucked up. So
that doesn't surprise me. They're Rockhaulian.
Yeah.
The Dwarf Enclaves of Primal are very different.
Yeah, the dwarves I met today didn't seem to like the Rockhaulians very much.
No, most of them are exiles, you see.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, you got whole Dwarven enclaves setting up. There's a Dwarven city tucked away, I think, or a town or something tucked away in the mountains somewhere. They're quite cagey about it. They don't like it's theirs. They don't like being disturbed, so we leave them to it.
It's because they're stubborn as all hell.
Yeah, but they pay their taxes to the Queen and Crown, so no one's got any reason to tell them off. I've definitely not stuck in and nicked stuff from them before. No, I wouldn't admit to that.
That card I gave you today,
mm-hmm.
Depending on what day you...
It's yesterday now. You've got a very busy day today.
Yeah. So, would you trust Blitz with it?
He's got a good heart, that one. He just has a mouth that gets away from him. I think he's learning. I think the faith is good for him. I don't think his previous masters were a good thing for him.
Yeah. I don't know what he's been through, but...
Some shit. He's a tiefling from Oldhurst. That's the only way to describe it. He's been through some shit.
Yeah.
You know what they do to tieflings from there, don't you?
I've heard rumours, but...
Yeah, if they don't get away, if they don't rebel and find one of the this is the old times, of course. They're changing now. But if you didn't find the the drifters, you'd be sent to the mines and you'd work yourself to death, or they'd just outright kill you for being a tiefling.
Well, I'm glad he got away.
Me too. He's a quiet character.
That's one way of putting it.
It's the polite way of putting it. He shakes his head at you.
He has a heart of gold.
Yeah, and a tongue of steel.
Sometimes.
Other times it's just lead because it falls flat.
But yeah, she stands up and takes the remnants of her pint of wine and heads to the stairs.
Well, good night.
Will you be attending the trial tomorrow?
I might attend as a shopkeeper of relative import.
Then I hope to see you there.
I would advise you definitely not keep an eye on whoever sits directly to my right.
And why would that be?
Because I generally have a good friend sat to my right when I attend functions like this.
She nods. I'll see you tomorrow. She'll head upstairs.
I'll see you later today, he says with a chuckle.
I haven't slept yet. It's still tomorrow.
No, time says nah.
And time's a theory.
Yep, and your theory is wrong. He heads once you're in your room. You hear him head up to his room as he thuds upstairs.
But yeah, she will lock the door behind her and try and get a couple of hours sleep.
You get some shut eye, and that is where we will draw it to a close. Yes. Alice has had her experience, and she heads to bed.